So how much Escalade do you think we could really get for 2,000 bucks? Today we're going to find out together. So first of all, if you're new here, click the link at the top of the screen. That's going to bring you to my Tahoe playlist. And you can see everything I went through getting my 2004 Tahoe, aka Tahiti, from auction and kind of getting it where it is now. This, on the other hand, is a 2009 Cadillac Escalade. It is on the GMT 900 platform, and it cost me 2,000 bucks at auction. Now, it wasn't even an actual auction. It was a buy it now sale. It was just an hour and a half over in Long Island. The title's clean, all out with fees, because I had to use a broker, and shipping. It cost me 3,500 bucks. So literally the truck could have been free and it still would have cost me $1,500 just because of the fees, the broker fees, the tax, all that stuff they add on, plus the shipping, because for some reason the broker I use doesn't let you actually go there with a trailer and pick it up. You need to use their shipping company, which is a little bit sketch. And the primary damage listed on the auction site was mechanical. And as you heard, it sounds like there's something going on with the engine. This is the 6.2, being it is a 2009. From my understanding, that's like the last year before they went over to active fuel management. So this shouldn't have the wonky, weird AFM lifters, but these apparently did still have some issues just with the lifters turning in the bores and getting wiped out, possibly damaging the cam. We'll get to that in a little bit. But right now, let's just look it over together because I have not touched this thing yet. All I know is it doesn't have a battery in it, so we needed a jump starter to get it off the truck and drive it in here. And the front left tire has a leak. It was flat on the tow truck. I had to air that up. Yeah, it was listed as running and driving on the auction, so at least that is accurate. So I guess we'll just jump right into it. We'll take a quick peek under the hood. Something I did notice is there's a weird rust hole in the hood, which I didn't see in the photos. And it literally went through the hood, which is very strange. I've never actually seen that on one of these. But I mean, most likely because it's missing the hood liner, probably dirt and crap gets caught in between there and maybe it rusts the hood out from the inside out. But maybe we'll find a hood for it. The manifolds are extremely rusty. They're missing a few bolts. That's going to be fun to get off because we are going to have to pull the heads on this thing to get to those lifters. And I do want to do a compression test on this thing today, just to kind of narrow down which cylinders are good, which ones have the lifter issues. It might just be one cylinder because it does seem to be misfiring. That's where our battery would go. Also seems like we're missing the bracket there. As well as there's a piece of plastic that's supposed to go over all this. That's missing. And I mean, the hood's shot anyway, but we got some damage here and the trim over here is missing. I don't know if that actually fell off or somebody at the auction just needed that for their own vehicle along with the battery. But I mean, for the most part, everything's here. I did look at the service history through the Carfax. Has a lot of stuff done to it. Like I said, it was a 2-owner vehicle. The second owner had it from 2011, from 35,000 miles up until like April of this year at 153. And all the oil changes were done. It had a bunch of brake work done to it, belts and stuff. So it seems like it was really well maintained. So for 2,000 bucks, I mean, just look at the body alone. Hardly any dings in the thing. It is missing the hitch cover. I mean, yeah, overall, I mean, the paint's in pretty good condition. There is a little bit of damage. I didn't notice that. There's a little crease in the fender there. And I did see this. Oh, the bumper's actually cracked. I didn't notice that. So yeah, it's probably got just kind of hit into something. Paint's a little chipped. We could touch that up. Probably pop the bumper back on. Shouldn't be a problem. And the badges, like all of them, they're a little faded and gross. I mean, overall, it's, from the looks of it, it's pretty solid. I don't know, we'll get under it in a minute. Something I did notice, the wheels are pretty much shot. I mean, these chrome wheels, especially in New York with the road salt, they just get all crusty inside and just flake and look like crap. So I think I'm gonna put that on the want part of the list. Maybe get some new wheels someday. Probably gonna need some brakes. Those look shot. kind of take a look inside. It's a little, I think that's just the, yeah, that's just the metal for the weather stripping. That's rusty. So good. Don't see any rust peeking through. Yeah, looks good over here. Let me know if you see anything down there. Oh boy, we have some parts. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Pretty good. I mean, what I like about this generation, you don't have any of that cladding on here. The GMT 800s, they have the cladding and they kind of rot underneath, and you'll see all the rust kind of dripping down. Oh, we have a battery, and it's from 2022. That might actually be a good battery. I gotta throw a tester on that. Okay, what the hell is this? Like a map sensor, mass airflow or something? I love this part of buying a new car. You get to do the archaeological dig. That is freaking brand new. It looks like it's an airflow, mass airflow sensor. And we have the bracket for the battery. It does have all like the dealer original all-weather floor mats. It's a little worn down. Just a little, you know, cosmetic BS that we can kind of spruce up later. What the hell is this? Okay. It appears, I think this is electronic. Okay, that doesn't work. Hey, we have a hitch cover. And the tabs look like they're intact. All right, that's cool. But, okay, yeah. We got a little bit of rot. I mean, it's not terrible. It's just on the bottom. Yeah, it's kind of coming through. And we'll have to do something with that. Maybe we could just kind of grind it down. Treat it, seam seal it, and then maybe just touch it up, because it's at the edge, not like you're really going to notice it too much. The rest of it kind of tapers out there, and the rest of it's fine. She got her third row in her. That doesn't work. Let's see, there might be a switch. That looks like it's closing. So maybe it does work. Fancy. That's the Harbor Freight jump pack telling me that this truck has 0 volts. You know what, before we go any further, let me grab that battery. I'm gonna throw a tester on it. We'll see if it's any good. Maybe I'll charge it. Wow, I can't even turn the tester on. All right, I got a little Harbor Freight charger. I'm gonna throw it on that for like a fast charge. And we'll take a look at the interior. Yeah, this battery is crap. Probably has a bad cell. Doesn't even know it has the clamps on it. So heading on inside, the seats aren't terrible. For the mileage, you know, they got the standard creases and stuff. A little bit worn over here. But I think just with maybe a cushion, because it's a little bit flat, probably get away with holding on to these covers. That's also gonna be on the want list. Like the steering wheel leather. It's actually in really good condition. Just could use a little bit of a cleaning. Horn button. So Oh, look at the CD in it. Get all kinds of CD noises. Oh wow, it still has a navigation disc in it. Also, this has two, oh. I hear the air pump trying to move. Oh, we got service suspension system. The compressor was working, and this thing isn't like super squatted, so I think the airbags are actually, I don't want to jinx myself, knock on, probably plastic, fake wood. But they might actually still be intact. How the hell do you work this radio? Ah. And yeah, even like when I was looking at the auction photos, I noticed all of these, for the most part, they're in like really good shape. They're not all worn down. Same thing with like the steering wheel controls. And you can see the mileage there. Last oil change was done in May. It's got the air conditioned seats. Heated seats. That seems to be working. Display looks good. Should have a backup camera. Backup camera's working. I believe it has Bluetooth too. And I'm wondering if I could maybe, they make like that dash where you can put a tablet in here. That's gonna probably be on my want list, where the tablet pretty much goes from here down to here. Or I might see if I get like a little retrofit box that'll just let me get CarPlay on this screen. But yeah, we got service suspension. It also said left front tire low. So I think the TPMS sensors are working correctly. We're gonna get a scanner on this thing in a minute just to see what codes it might have. And I wanna see if I can monitor the oil pressure. Actually, I think I could do that through the information system. Sometimes it'll tell you oil pressure. Okay, let's start it, see if we have anything. .54 PSI, at least when it's cold. So it does have some kind of oil pressure. The thing is, we don't know how long they drove this thing with that noise. Like, even if it's just like a couple of bad lifters, they could have wore through the cam. There could be metal throughout the motor. So that's where it's gonna be a little bit kind of sketchy. We'll just have to dig into it, see what's wrong, fix it, and then go from there. I noticed there's a little crack in the dash over there. This might be a separate panel that might be able to just get swapped out. Got a sunroof. It's very clean. Probably like the shade was never opened in its life. Wow, that's really tight too compared to my Tahoe. This thing was like never used. What the f? That's kind of funny. What, just to help people get in the back, I guess? Does it go back? All right, the other one doesn't work. I guess if you want to help your kids get in the back, you just flick the switch. You got to move it back manually. Back here, same thing. Leather's a little bit worn down. It's got the floor mat, you know, no major tears or anything. It's missing some covers. Well, one of them looks like it's there. Third row looks pretty good. We got the two tellies. Headliner's a little dirty. I didn't even notice that back there. Can you open this independently? I don't even know how the hell this truck works. I would think this glass opens. Is there a button under here? It does. Oh God, okay. Yeah. This looks like it was also never opened in its life. Like, look how clean it is under there. Yeah, both the tabs are broken off the window. That sucks. I'll try gluing them back on for the defroster. Just kind of little BS like this. Like, the major thing is the motor. I saw there's like a receipt in here. Let's do some digging, shall we? Somebody bought some buns. $1.49 buns. Port Washington, New York. This is February 19th, 6:36 p.m. You can learn a lot from a receipt, huh? Let's kill this key. The jump starter's driving me crazy. And it does have the remote starter. I don't know how to use it. It's probably because the hood's open, most likely, and I can't close the hood. But I think you hold that button down. You lock it, and then you hold the little swirly arrow, because it does flash, but it doesn't start. I'm assuming there's probably like a switch when the hood's open. But I mean, overall, really not too bad. It'll definitely benefit from a cleaning, and like even the carpets and stuff, they're pretty dusty, but they're not, there's no like huge stains. It definitely helps that this is black. Like when I was looking at these, most of them, the white ones, the interior was beige. And like I said, I just bought this one because I came across it and it was so cheap. Particularly if I could have chose, I probably would have wanted a black one. The problem with that is all of those are pretty much, they're all livery. Like they have like 3, 4, 500,000 miles on them. They completely run into the ground. The white ones, at least around here in New York, you don't really see any white ones that are TLC. And even like the wear in the back, this is probably just normal wear just from kids and stuff. Because I mean, according to the Carfax, not that it really, I don't know if it would really tell you that accurately, it said it was a passenger vehicle. It guaranteed it wasn't like TLC or anything, but that doesn't mean that it's not wrong, you know? One more thing, we forgot to look in the glove box. I'm wondering where I could find, oh, we got a remote. Oh, look at that thing. That's for the twin tellies in the back. I'm wondering where we would get the RPO codes. Usually, oh, they're actually right there. A little dark. Because I believe this has, like I said, I did some very crude just Googling and reading forums and stuff about these. 2009, I think they did out with the auto ride suspension and they switched over to mag ride in 2008, but it was only an option on the Platinum. And then in 2009, it became a base option on all of the Escalades with the 22-inch wheels. At least that's what I read. But apparently the mag ride is a lot better than the old auto ride system, albeit expensive if it breaks. Got OnStar manual, warranty info, main truck manual. All right, well, we'll start out back here. We got the spare tire. There is some crusty wusty. It does still have the airbags in it. That's good to know. They're at least there. Are they intact? I don't know. But once again, this thing isn't sagging, so my hopes are high. She's sitting level. Yeah, that's kind of all the usual. That's really not bad. That's pretty much like what my Tahoe looks like. Just kind of the coatings flaking away. There's a little bit of rust kind of at the seams there on the body. Still nothing crazy. I'll probably spray all this with some Surface Shield, some PB Blaster. Also, from what I found online, this truck apparently can tow like 78 to 8,100 pounds, which means technically it can tow Tahiti. Now, I don't know if that hitch that's on there is actually rated for that, but that's apparently what the truck capacity is. So yeah, technically I could tow Tahiti to the racetrack, and I'm going to get into why I bought this thing. I mean, aside from it being obviously a pretty good, seemingly, you know, good deal, I was looking for something else to use as a daily driver. You know how it goes. You buy a daily driver, you modify it, you buy another daily driver because you can't drive that one anymore. You modify that one, you got to buy another. That's the path I'm going down at this point. Same thing up here. Frame looks really solid. Just a little bit of surface scale. This does have all-wheel drive. Transfer case is bone dry. That's nice to see. Okay, we got some sort of an oil leak going on. Probably could be rear main, could be just the back of the oil pan, could be the valley cover leaking towards the back and dropping down or something like that. Ooh, it looks like we have some fresh end links in there. Look at that, performance blue. You see the holes where the torsion bars used to be, because these trucks, the GMC 900s, have coils in the front. Oh, I see a bunch of new crap up there. Let's head up towards the front. Everything, once again, like the body of the truck, everything looks solid. Like the frame, there's really nothing out of place under here. I mean, even the diff, that's bone dry as well. She's a little greasy. One of the other like wants that I want to do, assuming what happens with the, like, we're able to fix the motor in the truck, I like to just throw a water pump on it just for peace of mind. I don't know if it was ever done before. Oh, yeah, she definitely got new axles, new CV axles in the front. That was something that was on the Carfax. Both of them, look at that. Once again, frame looks good. Ooh, this one has, these have rack and pinion steering, and it looks like it has a freaking brand new rack in it. Look at that. Fancy. Yeah, there's no steering box. It just, that boot goes right down to the rack. Looks like it uses the same steering pump as the older trucks. All right, that's kind of nice. Crusty chrome wheels. Ugh. All right, so I think the next thing I want to do is get this thing off the ramps, just jack it up, shake the front end, see if there's any play in anything's worn out, needs to be replaced. And then we can throw a code reader on it, see if we have any codes, any history. I mean, there's no battery in it. I don't know if it's gonna actually have anything in there. There is a check engine light on though, so something's misfiring. And then we'll pull the plug, see what they look like, do a compression test. You know, I never actually looked in the glove box. Gospel. Power port in there. How the hell, the top of this opens, does it not? Oh shit. God, okay, that's... Can add that to the list. I just noticed there's like a huge oily piss puddle under it, but I don't see where it would be leaking from under there. Like everything looks mostly dry. So that's something I'm going to look into once we get the engine kind of sorted out. Ooh, nice and tight. Look at that. That's what I like to see. And the tires, that's the other thing. I didn't mention the tires yet. The tires are actually in like really good condition. Funny thing is they're actually Continental terrain contacts. They're the same tires I buy for the Tahoe and for my, when I had my Subaru, I think I had those on there too. Oh yeah, same thing, nice and tight. And we got a little, barely anything, just a little, barely feel it in my palm. From the wheel bearing. Eventually we'll tackle that. All right, so check it out. I got another product we could try. Top Gun sent me this months ago. I haven't had a chance to kind of incorporate it into a video yet, but it's a bi-directional scanner that's just a little Bluetooth dongle that you can use with your phone, you can use it with a tablet or something. It's the Top Gun Top Scan. And I've been using it just recently for a few things. What did I hook? I hooked it up to a truck at work, and it actually was able to get into the hybrid system and everything. I was really surprised, and it's like lightning friggin' fast. It's got USB-C on the back. I'm assuming that's probably to update it. I don't think it needs to be charged. It takes the power off the OBD. But so far, it seems to be a nice little unit. So let's hook it up to the Escalade here. So it connected really easily. The phone came up with a notification saying the Top Scan wants to get to my phone. I got the app downloaded. Boom. Auto VIN. What's great about this thing is like lightning fast. So Z95, is that the suspension package? I don't know, whatever, it shouldn't matter. Light duty, okay, yes. Because that's the beauty about these dongle type like scanners. You're always like getting a new phone every few years, so the hardware is always going to be updated as far as like the interface and the software. So when you download the stuff you use it for, it's not going to get slowed down as much as like a regular scanner. when it, like, the space gets taken up with updates. Plus, you could just download, if you're using this for your personal vehicle, you could just download, like, your make of vehicle, and that'll be the only software you have on the phone. It won't even take up a lot of space. All right, we're gonna do an auto scan. Scan everything. Let's see what she's got wrong. I can take it. All right, we're almost done scanning. It's scanning all the modules. I want to see with the suspension too, if there's any codes in the suspension module, being we're getting service air suspension. Does anybody else's truck make this noise? I noticed my Tahoe did it, and I thought it was because I put an aftermarket radio in, but right from the OnStar like microphone, you hear that? I don't know if it's picking that up. It's like a brrrr, like almost a staticky kind of noise. And I thought it was just because I swapped my radio out, but it's doing it in this thing too. I don't know, it could be because the batteries also doesn't really have a battery, and there's probably a bunch of electrical interference, but definitely let me know if you have that sound. All right, so we have an electronic suspension fault. Everything else is scanned. So let's just start at the top here. See what we got for the engine. It's got to be a misfire. That came up immediately and it was flashing. Engine misfire, all right. It's not really telling me which one. Could be a multiple. I think a 300 is like a multiple. That's not very reassuring. Electronic suspension control. Air control pressure circuit malfunction, level control. So it could be like a level sensor, possibly. I don't know. I'm really not familiar with these systems. I got to do a lot of research, but let's get a battery in it first, take care of the engine, and then once we clear the codes and everything, the voltage where it's supposed to be, we'll deal with that. But we could try. Let's see if this will let us. It's supposed to be bidirectional. Compressor test. On. That works. I don't know if you could hear that, but the compressor just ran. It ran for a few seconds and it stopped. Probably because of that level sensor, it's not getting a reading. Look at this, it tells you everything, like for all the sensors. All right, that's pretty cool. Let's try one more. Liftgate, open, close test. Open. There she goes. And we'll close it. So I definitely recommend checking this thing out. I'm going to put a link down in the description along with a coupon code. Definitely a little handy tool to have, especially the fact that it could do bidirectional control just on your phone like that. All right, well, I'm going to take this. I'm done. You know what? Nah, I got to leave this. Shut up. I wanted to disconnect the jumper, but I got to leave it on so we can do the compression test. So let's start. Let's see if it has oil in it. It's a little brown, but it doesn't look gray, like it's filled with metal. Here we go, the transmission. These 6L80s could have torque converter issues. I don't know exactly what years were affected. Looks and doesn't smell terrible. Look at that. It's still pinkish. It's like a pinkish brown. That's really not bad. That could just be from not doing the services or the flushes. I'm really just looking to make sure nothing's like totally burnt and like just black. All right, that's kind of hopeful. We didn't have any transmission codes, although we didn't try driving the thing yet, so something could potentially pop up, but $2,000, man, not looking too bad so far. So as I get these plugs pulled out here, you guys are probably wondering why we're not working in the shop. This thing is too long to fit in there, even if I wanted to. So we're kind of stuck working outside with it regardless. So whatever we end up doing with this, if we end up pulling the heads in the next episode or the next video, whatever, it's all gonna be done outside. And I'll tell you one thing, it is not getting any warmer out. Speaking of which, I gotta find my gloves. So I'm just gonna pull these guys one at a time so it feels like I'm making good progress. We're gonna pull. We'll pull a plug, put the compression tester in it, spin it over with the gas pedal to the floor so it kills the fuel, opens the throttle body, and we'll just measure cold compression just to get an idea of what cylinders are affected by what I'm assuming is failed lifters. Plus, it'll give us a good idea what the plugs look like. You know, like the condition of the rings and stuff. I mean, the electrode right at the tip there is not terrible. It's definitely a little sooty though. These are AC Delco plugs. I mean, these could be the original plugs for all we know. I guess we're looking for anything around 150, I guess will be acceptable. Ooh, look at that. Well, I think it's safe to say number 1 is probably all right. Yeah, 185. Well, the spark plug wire on number 5 there wasn't even connected at the bottom. It was just kind of sitting there, just kind of tucked onto the tip of the plug. Oh yeah, that wasn't firing. That plug is freaking soaking with gas. So there's one of our misfires. Let's see if it actually has compression now. That could be the dead cylinder. That guy's looking pretty good too. Number 7 plug. That's also pretty wet. The plug came out real easy, and the wire didn't appear to be loose or off, so that could be a problem cylinder. Oh yeah, there we go. Of course, it's the one all the way in the back. Number 7, no compression. Number 2 plug looks all right. We got 187 on that one. Well, my mic's dead. I'll try to get through the rest of these quick. So we had about 182 on that one. Plug looked good too. So far we're making out all right. We only have 1 cylinder down. Hopefully I didn't just jinx myself. For anybody wondering how to remove number 8, which also looks, it's a little wet. Not terrible, not as bad as number 7 though. First of all, you gotta take your watch off. Go in this way. You get your hand in there, get the socket on. Then you come in with a regular ratchet, kind of like a low profile one like this. And a 19, you get on the back of that. This whole setup's a little bit shorter than an extension. And that'll get it right out of there. The hard part's actually getting the stupid squiggly compression tester tube on there. So I'm gonna go fight with that right now. All right, I think I'm all the way on there. Unfortunately, the compression tester I have is this really, really old Harbor Freight one. It doesn't have like a quick disconnect on it. So it's like, you have to spin the whole thing in with the gauge attached. I think it's bottomed out. I mean, regardless, we should be able to hear the compression bleeding out if it isn't sealing. Yeah, I could hear it poofing past the threads. It's not fully seated, but we still got, shut up, my God. We still got like 172. So yeah, if that was fully down, it would probably be around like 180, 185 again. So, I mean, by the looks of it, the only dead cylinder that we have, I mean, that's not to say that the other lifters aren't worn out either. So of course we're going to do all of them, but it seems like the misfire and probably most of the noise is coming from cylinder 7 in the back. So let's go ahead and pop that valve cover off, see what those rockers look like, if they're loose or not. Ugh. She's never been removed before. Oh boy, let me bring you guys in, see what we're gonna see. The condition of the motor is going to be. Learn a lot about the oil changes just by popping off a valve cover. Ooh. Yeah, I would have loved to got all this crap off, but the hose is frozen. I just lost a bolt. It didn't fall through. Good thing I have extras. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad at all. Nice kind of sheen to it. No like big chunks of kind of caked on stuff. So let's see. Let's start wiggling these rockers, see which one's the culprit. I'm assuming it's probably going to be just the ones on the back, cylinder number 7. To me, it sounds like it's multiple cylinders just kind of starting to go out that kind of have some lash. But the actual like misfire is coming from here. So this should have like, oh yeah, there you go. That is absolutely effed. The rocker's destroyed. Ugh. The bearing is missing, so that's not really good. That means it probably dropped a bunch of needle bearings into the motor. I already see there's a needle bearing over here. That's one of the trunnion bearings for the side closest to the firewall. Just completely gone. All the little needle bearings are kind of sitting in the top of the head. Most likely the lifter probably moved. The lifter probably turned. Wore out. Got a bunch of lash. Push rod probably popped out. Probably got bent and then forced this thing up on the rocker and caused it to fail. Just to verify, I'm going to go just zip that rocker off. See what the push rod looks like. It's probably going to be bent though. The rocker itself doesn't look bad. Oh yeah, push rod's bent. So as much as this sucks, this is exactly what I called when I bought this thing. I was like, when I saw mechanical damage, I'm like, well, it's either like a transmission thing or an engine thing. It says it runs and drives, so most likely it's probably lifter failure. We still don't know about the cam. So I could pull the valley cover and peek at the cam. However, I don't think it's really worth it because the heads, the lifter's got to get changed. So the head's got to come off regardless. Once the heads are off, we pulled the lifters out, we could peek down and look at the cam. So I'm just going to wait for that. All right, so I went and hooked everything back up. I disconnected the fuel injector on cylinder 7. So let's see if it runs any better now that it should have one less misfire with that loose spark plug wire. I'm still holding my foot on the gas like I'm doing a compression test. She's all fixed. She's a 7-cylinder now. So that's it. So that lifter is probably stuck up in the tray. So now it's not clanking on the cam anymore. She's smooth as hell now. I mean, we still have to hope. We got to get this head off. We got to make sure that cylinder didn't get washed out. It could have got washed out from who knows how long they ran it that way. That's something I'm worried about, just with the fuel constantly dumping in there. But we're not going to be able to we can't do a compression test, so we get that lifter replaced, possibly the cam if it's wiped out, and then go from there. But I am happy that she's quiet now. So that means the only spot that was causing the issue and potentially putting like a bunch of metal in the motor was just that one cylinder. That makes me feel a little bit better. She sounds freaking great considering she's down a cylinder. But there you go, guys. That is my new GM SUV auction purchase. Let me know what you guys think. You think it's a good deal? Is it worth it for this style of Escalade? I know the GMT 900s, they definitely have more issues than the 800s, especially once they get into like the AFM years. But luckily this is an 09. It doesn't have AFM, so there's that. It does have the VVT, which shouldn't really be too much of an issue. And for the mileage, I mean, 153,000 miles. I feel like this is going to be a really nice SUV, and it is going to be my new daily driver. Don't worry, I'm not getting rid of Tahiti. This is just going to kind of take over so I could do more stuff on her once the Trans Am is running. Definitely leave a comment down below as well. Let me know any finds that you have found at auctions, any great deals. Have you come across stuff like this? Maybe like just weird exotic cars that you paid cheap for that people kind of wrote off, and then it turned out you just need to throw a plug in it or something, and you had a really nice running and driving car. Also, let me know if you'd like me to do like a dedicated auction video. So I was considering doing something where I kind of bring you guys on the auction site, show you what I personally look for, how I kind of tend to find these vehicles. They don't come around like too often where they're clean like this, but when they do, I do tend to snatch them up, and I could show you guys exactly what I look for, how to kind of really zoom into those pictures, look at stuff that could potentially be a problem, stuff that you could just immediately write off and say, okay, that looks good, I'm happy with that. And who knows, maybe you can find something that you're looking for that's in good condition, you don't have to spend a shit ton of money for. But next video, we're gonna be digging into that 6.2, taking care of that cam, lifter, weird issue, whatever's going on, and hopefully we can get this thing up and running for relatively cheap.